All right, welcome to the Contractor Show. We got another episode for you here today, and we got a guest here. She is local. She's a rock star. She's a fitness. I'm going to say she's a fitness professional with how fit she is. But we got Brittany Kato with us. She is in the residential and commercial inspection business, correct?
Yes.
And so I want to bring her on. She's in the area. She's got great relationships. She's doing incredible things, and ultimately, kind of want to hear about Brittany, what she's doing, and so. Brittany, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you, Jesse. I appreciate the invite.
Yeah, absolutely. So how long have you been in Jacksonville?
I've been in Jacksonville for about 9 years now working.
9 years. And where'd you come from?
I was in Connecticut, but I was in Nassau County before.
You were in Nassau County?
Yeah.
Nassau County, Florida.
Yes.
Okay.
That's not Jacksonville, though.
Okay, because I know there is a Nassau County in New York as well. So, all right, so let's talk about a little bit about what you do.
All right. So I head up and I'm responsible for the development and relationships for the Home Pro family of companies. So we have a residential inspection silo, we have a commercial inspection silo, and we just opened up a pest control company at the first of the year that's really taken off.
Got it. How did you get involved in that?
Oh, just being an opportunist and loving on people. I got an opportunity to work for Hewlett Packard for business development, and then went into the automotive space. And about a year and a half ago, decided that I wanted to work for a company that was aligned with my values. And that's how I found Wally and Ryan over at Home Pro.
That's good. So Jacksonville, so you came from Connecticut. So what brought you to Florida and Jacksonville? Not that I hope you don't regret it, because Florida's an incredible place.
No, I definitely don't regret it. There's no better place to raise a family. I think there's more opportunity here, a sustainable market. And honestly, I don't drink Coke, but I didn't want somebody to tell me the size of the Coke I could buy if I wanted to, or how many rounds I could carry. So
That's Florida. Thank you, Ron, for that one.
yes.
All right, good. So let's talk a little bit about, because you and I were talking offline, and I really like talking about marketing and how do we fill the gaps in the marketplace, and how do you strategically align yourself with where you want to head. So a lot of what you do is the commercial and residential inspections. So you're inspecting new buildings and old buildings, or what does that look like?
Yeah, so we inspect old buildings, new construction houses in all three phases. And then on the commercial side, any and everything, retail, hotels, property condition assessments, balcony inspections. We're really a one-stop shop. So it is kind of difficult when you're trying to decide where you're going to spend your marketing efforts and your time and how much branding. I kind of put it down into three different silos. You have branding, you have marketing, and you have your nurturing opportunities.
Got it. So how are you finding these opportunities?
Through relationships.
All right. So next question, what is your, I guess, how do you establish such relationships, and who is your key relationship? Are you focusing with contractors, property management groups? Because we met each other at a beach bash.
Yes.
For a local NAOP event.
Yes.
And at that event, we had a lot of brokers. There was contractors, property managers, and designers, architects. So you really had a mixed bag. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, what is your key focus when it comes to your ideal client, and really where you need to be to make a deal happen?
Well, in the past 5 years or so, everything's been very agent and broker aligned, and that's kind of been our target focus area and who we cater to. That's where we're getting our referrals. But with the digital space, and with everyone working remotely, there's a lot more client facing, and our contractor management system has been very key for us on just creating those relationships and getting in touch with key opportunities that then we can go out and bid, and really helping us get the foot in the door.
Got it. And is it just here in Jacksonville?
No. So we go from Palm Coast all the way up to Camden County, Georgia, to Lake City on the residential side. And then on the commercial side, we will go all the way out to the Panhandle down to Orlando.
Very cool. Very cool. So that's a little bit about you and what you do, but I'm really interested in your fitness history, because that's where I came from. So, I was taking I did a little bit of bodybuilding back in the day. You probably can't tell now, but I did some bodybuilding back in the day.
Oh, you can. The muscle doesn't go away that quick.
So I did some bodybuilding back in the day, and it was such a dedication. It was such a lifestyle that I had to embed, and there was a lot of sacrifices that I had to make when it came to friends, family, work, marriage. Like there was all these sacrifices that I had to make, and I found myself in the gym getting ready for a contest, whether if it was working out 5 days a week or 7 days a week or doing 2 a days, cardio in the morning, cardio at night. So in your fitness career, how do you think that has applied to your professional career?
It takes dedication and time management. And I think that it's the getting up at 4:15 every morning and, then going to bed at 10 and just being very particular about where you choose your time and who you interact with.
Yeah.
If I'm not working, I'm at the gym or around those people with the same mindset. And that's what I've come into. If I follow my passion with the fitness, with the philanthropy work that we do, with the business relationships I nurture, everybody has the same mindset and the business just follows.
Yeah, it almost it actually changes your entire mindset. It changes, and it actually makes you more alert. You're more, I would say, awake during the day. You're very aware of your surroundings
Until about 9 o'clock.
until about 9 o'clock, because you've been up since 4 a.m. and you can only drink so much coffee. But one of the things that I noticed a big difference in me when I was training versus when I don't train anymore, like I don't even work out anymore, and I can tell a big difference in how alert or how prepared I am, and really how, I guess, where my performance is.
Yes.
And it's when you don't connect your heart, and when I say your heart, your mind, your body, and your soul, ultimately, if you don't have all four of those connected, things start to fall off. And before you realize it, you start getting muddy upstairs. Things start to merge together.
You hit a ceiling and you can't break through.
Yeah.
To get to the next level, it's all got to be aligned. And with the rate of technology moving so fast, and we're having to learn, making sure you have that physical activity every day and a purpose outside of work really helps keep you centered and focused. It also shows you that consistency is key. That's one of the biggest things with fitness and within, I think, marketing and acquiring new business is you have to be consistent and be dedicated to get up and do the same thing day after day until it pays off.
Yeah, and it's not these big audacious steps you got to take. It's just you just have to keep going.
Yes,
right?
Every day.
Right. And so I got a buddy of mine who's really big into podcasts, just put on a big old tax conference, and he had said something that just keeps running through my mind, and it's the daily habits that you are consistent with. It's not that you got to go out and you got to move a mountain today. It's that, no, you got to go in, you got to show up and do the work.
Yes.
And it's really not that difficult to do. It's just a lot of people just don't want to do the work. It's like getting up at 4 a.m., 4:15. I tried that a few times, but I'm like a 4:45, 5 o'clock kind of guy. Which isn't too bad. But it is. I mean, if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't have a routine. I wouldn't be consistent. I'd be showing up here at 8 o'clock in the morning, drowsy, druggy, trying to depend on coffee to get by. And ultimately, our employees kind of, they feed off that. They feed off that energy. Same thing goes with the clients in marketing. They all feed off the energy. And if you can put yourself in front of a client when you're in shape and you got energy, and I've been up since 4 a.m. this morning, holy shit, okay, that's impressive.
Because they work hard too.
They work hard. And there's so many excuses out there, and I'm guilty of this, is, we all make excuses because it's uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable to get up at 4 a.m. in the morning. So how do you manage that? Because you got a boy, correct?
Yes,
a son?
A 6-year-old, yes.
A 6-year-old. So
I've been dragging him to the gym for years.
So you're dragging him to the gym?
Yes, he gets up with me and he goes to the gym.
That's good. Is he working out or just hanging out?
He does the kids program on the weekend, but at 4:15 he's just hanging out.
Yeah, that's good. So that's another example of what you got to do to make it happen. Instead of at any point in time, you could just stay there and say, look, my son's sleeping. I'm gonna let him sleep in. No, drag his ass and go. I mean, it's
the example.
It's good for him to see it as well, right? It's the same thing with our daughter. My wife and I always try to set the standard, and my wife doesn't do this, but I'm like, make up your bed, put your clothes up, pick up your toys, and she's always like, just relax a little bit. I'm like, no, it's structure. It's structure to kids, because there's such an issue right now in society with the kids, right? And the kids, they aren't disciplined enough. They're not structured. They're not on a routine. And ultimately, it teaches them a lot. It teaches them a lot about life at a young age.
Yes, and they're not going to learn it anywhere else besides in the home.
They're not.
And the same with business. I feel like that's where it starts. We can get up and time block your day, and be consistent and make one more phone call, go to one more networking event, find out something else about that client that you want to get in touch with. It's the same throughout all aspects of life.
Yeah, we only got so many hours in the day to do so much. And do you follow Ed Milet?
No.
So you follow Ed Milet. He has a saying, just one more. one more rep, one more rep. And he talks about that. He says, no one will outwork me. I will do one more phone call. I'll do one more email, one more text, one more phone call than you will. And so that's kind of the mentality of what we've been trying to put into the company, especially me sitting in that chair right there, is that I'll just do one more. Just do one more. And ultimately, people just get lazy now.
They do. And lazy. The culture doesn't help.
No, it doesn't.
So we have to kind of be stewards of that and break that mold.
Yeah.
And want to, grow our employees around us and the people that we're working with. And that's a big core value of ours is, and in our mission statement, to accommodate and facilitate the growth of each individual as it aligns with the company. So there's tons of ways that we do that. But if they're growing, we're growing.
Yeah.
And that's how in a stable market, we're able to increase market share by investing in those people.
That's huge. That's huge. A lot of people overlook that because there's really not, there's not a front end monetary, I would say, a monetary value on the front end to training people. It's the back end that, and it's hard to see. Like, it was really hard for me when I started, was trying to understand why it was so important to train people when it really didn't bring me money up front. But in, looking back, 3 years ago, I could see how important that was. That's why I got some of the time, and, the bank account is what it is, and boat across the street and I can go fishing. Like there's things that we do for a long term.
Yes, and creating those standard of practices so you can drop in people into training. You got to have a scalable business. And that's a whole nother thing, but it takes time and effort, and it has to be adjusted. We're constantly adjusting our business models to be able to drop people in and make sure everyone's trained the right way.
Absolutely. So what do you enjoy most about what you do?
Loving on people.
Yeah.
I love the face-to-face, the conversations I get to learn about our clients, to help them, help their clients. When we have a partnership with Rethreaded, they're here locally.
Oh, yeah.
Help women.
Yeah, very familiar.
And just love what they do, and it's a blessing to be a part of that. So we're part of their corporate gift box program, and we give a closing gift box to all of our agents. So when their clients call them or us and they're crying at their closings because of the gift and they feel like they've made a difference, that's what makes me want to get up the next day.
Can you tell the audience a little bit about what Rethreaded is?
Yeah, so Rethreaded helps women in the local area who are coming out of human trafficking situations, and they make a 5-year commitment to every woman. Florida is number 3 in the country for human trafficking, and Jacksonville is number 3 in the state. So there's a lot of women to help here. And
Jacksonville's number 3 in the state?
It is.
No way.
Yes.
Wow, that's sad. That's horrible.
It's hard to see. It's typically not kidnapping.
Yeah.
It's not somebody being held against their will. It is people being coerced.
Wow, unbelievable.
And people that we're going to church and school with.
Wow,
and children.
Unbelievable.
It's hard. But they make a 5-year commitment, and it's a holistic approach. So they're giving them job training. They're helping them with housing, child care. They are giving them individual and group therapy. So that's really just a mission that has held on to our hearts and that we've been passionate about this year. And we want to work with people who have passions.
Yeah. So we're going to expand on that because we were talking about this beforehand on how it's so easy to get tied up in all these organizations.
Yes.
It's so easy to get tied up in the organizations and the sponsorships. And, we see it firsthand. I feel like the more branding and marketing that we do, the more we're asked and asked and asked.
All the time, right?
Yeah, it's every. I mean,
every week.
There was 2 checks on my desk this morning, $1,500 a piece, and I said no, we're not going to do it. It's just we ultimately had to pick. I hate to say pick and choose, but we ultimately had to. It wasn't where we get the most benefit from. It was where do we really align ourselves with.
Yes.
And there were 2 sponsorships that we did pull back on because at the end of the day we just can't do it all. And it kind of goes back to how you guys are involved with the group at Rethreaded. We're really involved with Make-A-Wish here in the office. A couple years ago, Amber here in the office, we went to the entire team and we said, look, out of these 3 organizations, who do we want to support this year? Everyone in the company chose Make-A-Wish, hands down. So for the past 2 years, we've just been invited in the field to Make-A-Wish. Young professionals, boards, chairs, co-chair positions. So really involved with that. So but you got to pick and choose.
You do, and then also, I hate to just give people money for sponsorships
Yeah.
or, oh, I need a gift card for this drive or this. Well, how can I help you support that cause in another way? How can
Yeah.
I help you make more money or raise more money for that? How can I educate your team? What else can I
Yeah.
bring to the table? Can I bring volunteers
Yeah.
to help you with your drive? Can
Uh-huh.
I connect you with the right people?
Yep.
So we really, that's something Wally is fantastic about, our owner, is he's really changed the conversation and the mindset on how we help our clients
Yeah.
that I think really sets us apart.
Yeah. It's not just about the money.
No, it's not. It's about helping that cause and being a part of that mission and helping them better themselves. So I like to do that in non-conventional ways. So when our team makes outbound phone calls for prospecting, we don't talk about ourselves. And our mission is, hey, we're putting together our philanthropy and charitable giving calendar. What are you involved in this year that we can help support? Can I come to your blood drive? Can I help you set up for an event?
Yeah.
And it's a whole different conversation that you have with potential clients, and it brings the people that you want to do business with.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot more giving people out there than we realize.
Yes.
I did a Facebook Live on this morning. So I had went to a mechanic shop this morning, had to get a tire changed out on the boat trailer, and I pull up, and the owner of the business didn't want to charge me a dime to change out the tire. But I said, well, that's great. That's your decision, but I'm paying something. And so he had 5 mechanics out there because the trailer's so big, right? And they had to get 3 jacks out there to lift up this boat. And so and I asked him, I said, well, will you allow me to tip every one of the employees that are out here? It was the most expensive tire change I've ever had. But I did it because it was giving back, and and it kind of goes back to understanding the value of what you provide and what you can bring, and you just ultimately just supporting what you believe in and what you feel is worth.
And you had that reciprocity
Yeah.
that you now put with them. You probably got more out of that tip than they did.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
I did, and I got a tire on my trailer, so now I'm not on the side of the road.
And that's the amazing part about giving and doing good business.
Yeah.
And that's what attracted me to this industry and the abundance mindset that we find both in the commercial and residential space, and especially just here in the Jacksonville market. I don't think it's maybe as abundant elsewhere.
I don't think it is. I think we got a special place here.
I think so too. And there's so much available, and it's nice to be a part of these larger groups that just help everybody and everyone wants to succeed.
Yeah, everyone's so welcoming here in the area. And we just met each other maybe a month ago. I'm like, yeah, come on the podcast, come by the office, and and it's just it is. Everyone kind of works together in the area. Everyone supports one another, and ultimately that's why I probably won't ever leave. So
I think you said something on one of your podcasts about your competitors.
Yep.
And that's something that I wanted to touch on because it's very similar. We, in the inspection industry, all the major players get together on a regular basis and mastermind and talk and share financials and pour into each other.
That's probably in my professional career, that's what I enjoy the most about Jacksonville, is how all of the competitors really come together at the end of the day. Me and one of our biggest competitors went out for drinks. Actually, it was a NAOP event that we were at. We went out to a bar afterwards and just had drinks all night and just talked.
Yeah.
Just talked. It wasn't even really about business. It was fishing, hunting, the families. And I had a text this morning at 6 a.m. from another competitor. Needed a hand with something. But that's ultimately what makes companies successful, is the network that they have, the circle, the community, and essentially once they establish that, it's so strong.
Yes.
But I don't think many people can do that outside At least I might be biased to Jacksonville, but
maybe we are, but I don't think so. Definitely not in the Northeast.
Awesome. Well, I think that's probably a good way to wrap this thing up. So, any questions for me? No. Well, thank you for coming.
Thank you so much for having me on. And
thank you.
Appreciate you and all your work you're doing here and for being a part of this industry.
I appreciate it. I'm glad to have you.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for tuning in on the Contractor Show. We'll see you next week.